Have you ever noticed how Khamzat Chimaev seems to be in full attack mode the second a fight begins? Why does he rush forward while most fighters take time to study their opponents? Is it just aggression? Or is there something more behind those explosive starts? Time and time again, Khamzat has shocked fans by taking control of fights within the first minute. But what makes him so different from everyone else? In this video, we will break down the real reasons behind his fast starts and what makes them so effective. Before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join Iron Fist MMA for more MMA content. The wrestler's mindset. To understand why Khamzat Chimaev starts so fast, we first need to look at where he comes from. Before he became a UFC star, Khamzat spent many years in wrestling. And wrestling is very different from striking sports like boxing or kickboxing. In striking, fighters often take time to feel each other out. But in wrestling, there is no time to relax. The moment the match begins, both athletes are already fighting for control, balance, and position. If you hesitate even for a second, you can end up in a bad spot. Because of this, wrestlers learn to attack early and take control fast. They are trained to be aggressive from the very start. Khamzat brings this same mindset into MMA. When the fight begins, he doesn't wait or hesitate. He moves forward, takes control, and forces his opponent to react. For him, attacking early feels natural, not forced. Instant analysis. One big reason many fighters start slow is because they are trying to gather information. They want to understand their opponent first. How fast are they? How strong do they feel? What is their timing like? And how dangerous are their counters? Because of this, many fighters spend the first round just studying. But Khamzat Chimaev takes a different path. Instead of waiting for answers, he forces them early. When he goes for an immediate takedown or pressure, he learns a lot in seconds. He can quickly see if the opponent is strong, if they can defend wrestling, if they stay balanced, or if they panic under pressure. This means Khamzat often gathers more information in a few seconds than others do in a full round. And once he understands his opponent, he can adjust fast and start taking control of the fight. Trusting the process, fast starts need one key thing: confidence. A fighter who doubts himself will always slow down and hesitate. But a fighter who fully trusts his skills can move freely and without fear. Khamzat Chimaev has always shown strong belief in his abilities. From his early UFC fights, he looked like someone who expected to win, not just compete. That mindset shows in everything he does. When he shoots for a takedown, he believes it will work. When he moves forward, he expects the opponent to back up. When he attacks, he trusts he is the stronger athlete in the moment. Because of this confidence, he doesn't waste time thinking too much. He acts immediately. And in MMA, acting first often gives a big advantage because it puts the other fighter under pressure right away. Weaponizing pressure, mentality alone cannot explain Khamzat Chimaev's fast starts. His physical tools also play a big role. Khamzat is an explosive athlete with a rare mix of size, speed, and strength that is hard to find in one fighter. Most fighters are either fast or strong, but he has both. When he shoots for a takedown or moves forward, opponents have very little time to react. His first step is quick, his level changes are sharp, and he covers distance fast. This sudden burst makes his attacks hard to read and even harder to stop. Even when opponents know what is coming, reacting in time is still a big challenge. Khamzat Chimaev's biggest weapon is pressure. When he moves forward non-stop, opponents start thinking only about defense instead of attacking. He forces them into tough positions early, defending takedowns, punches, and cage control. They cannot find their rhythm or calm down. Khamzat's goal is simple: never let his opponent feel comfortable in the fight. The power of the takedown. If there is one move that explains Khamzat Chimaev's fast starts, it is the takedown. A takedown changes everything in a fight. When it lands, one fighter takes control while the other is forced to defend and react. Khamzat often goes for takedowns very early because he knows how important they are. A clean takedown can control the pace, drain energy, build confidence, score points, and open chances for submissions or ground strikes. Even if the opponent stands back up, They usually spend a lot of energy doing it. Meanwhile, Khamzat keeps pushing forward. This creates a snowball effect, where one takedown leads to another, and then another, keeping constant pressure on his opponent. Predictable but unstoppable, one reason Khamzat Chimaev's style works so well is that opponents already know what he will do. That sounds strange because surprise usually matters in fighting. But Khamzat creates a different kind of problem. Everyone expects him to wrestle, pressure forward, and start fast. The issue is, even when they know it, stopping it is still very hard. This builds pressure before the fight even starts. Fighters enter the cage already thinking about defending takedowns and early attacks. That anticipation can affect their timing, reactions, and decisions. Sometimes they focus so much on defense that they miss chances to strike. Khamzat uses this mental pressure to his advantage even before he throws his first attack. Built for sustained pressure, starting fast is easy, but keeping that same pace is much harder. Many fighters can explode for 20-30 seconds, but very few can keep attacking at a high level after that. Khamzat Chimaev's conditioning allows him to push hard from the beginning. His years in wrestling built a special kind of endurance. In wrestling, athletes constantly push, pull, lift, drive, and scramble for control. It is non-stop work. Because of this background, Khamzat is used to a very high pace that feels overwhelming for many opponents. When he starts fast, he trusts his cardio to support him. Most of the time, it does, letting him keep pressure on his opponent. Cutting off the cage, another reason Khamzat Chimaev starts fast is his understanding of cage control. Many people only think about punches and takedowns, but where the fight happens inside the cage is just as important. Khamzat quickly cuts off space and does not let his opponents move freely. He pressures them toward the fence, where there are fewer escape options. Once a fighter is near the cage, it becomes much harder to circle away or reset. This also makes takedowns easier to set up, because the opponent has less room to move. That is why Khamzat does not need a long feeling-out process. He immediately starts closing distance and shrinking space, forcing the fight into his strongest positions very early. Controlled aggression, most fighters like calm, controlled fights. But Khamzat Chimaev is comfortable in chaos. Fast exchanges, scrambles, and messy wrestling do not seem to bother him. While opponents try to understand what is happening, he keeps moving and attacking. His wrestling background helps him think clearly under pressure. This confidence in chaos is why he starts fast. The first impression when Khamzat Chimaev entered the UFC, fans quickly noticed how aggressive his style was. He was not interested in slow, tactical fights. Instead, he looked focused on taking control and dominating from the start. In his early UFC fights, the pattern was clear: pressure, wrestling, control, and non-stop attacks. This approach helped him build a strong reputation as one of the most explosive starters in MMA. Even as he faced tougher opponents, his main idea has stayed the same. Khamzat wants control early, because once he has it, he becomes much more dangerous and hard to stop. The hesitation trap, knowing what Khamzat Chimaev wants to do, is one thing, but stopping it is much harder. The problem is that he mixes different threats at the same time. If an opponent focuses too much on defending wrestling, they may get hit with strikes. But if they focus too much on striking, they become open to takedowns. This creates hesitation. And in MMA, hesitation is very dangerous, especially against someone who starts fast like Khamzat. Even a small delay can give him the chance to close distance and take control. Because of this, his opponents are often forced to make quick decisions under pressure, and that becomes even harder when he is attacking at full speed. Winning the mental game, there is another hidden benefit to Khamzat Chimaev's style. The fighter who attacks first often gains psychological momentum. It is hard to measure, but every athlete can feel it. When you control the action, your confidence grows. But when you are only reacting, frustration builds. Khamzat understands this very well. By starting fast, he puts opponents on the back foot and makes them react instead of act. This means they are fighting his fight, not their own. That mental shift can be very powerful, and even top fighters can struggle with it. Pressure versus adaptation, It is important to understand that fast starts do not always lead to easy wins. As Khamzat Chimaev faces stronger opponents, the challenge becomes harder. Elite fighters are more skilled, better prepared, tougher, and harder to control. Some fights need adjustments, and some become more tactical. Some opponents can survive his early pressure. But even then, Khamzat's mindset stays the same. He always tries to take control early and make his opponent deal with his pressure from the very beginning. Built for fast starts, when people watch Khamzat Chimaev explode across the cage, they often think it is just aggression. But it is much more than that. His fast starts come from a mix of many things. Years of wrestling, strong athletic ability, confidence, pressure, conditioning, cage awareness, mental toughness, and a belief in attacking first all work together. If one part is missing, the system becomes weaker. But when everything comes together, it creates one of the fastest starting fighters in MMA today. Final breakdown. When the bell rings, most fighters start thinking, but Khamzat Chimaev starts acting. Why is he so fast at the beginning? Is it his wrestling background, his confidence, or his non-stop pressure? As we saw, it is all of these things working together. His mindset, skill, and athletic ability make him dangerous from the first second. By the time opponents react, he is already controlling the fight. So what do you think, can anyone match his start speed in MMA today? If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and support Iron Fist MMA for more MMA content.